Hey guys, John V from Phone Rainy here. You're watching our video review of the ZTE Z Max. If you've always wanted to pick up a phablet but didn't want to pay a whole lot of money, you might like the ZTE Z Max. That's because it has a very affordable price point of $262 outright, and it features a pretty gigantic 5.7-inch display. The design is pretty generic as they come. It sports a hardline body, plastic construction, which gives it a very slippery feel in the hand, and it kind of reminds us of the Lumia series. It's big, so it's quite a handful to operate. Being a phablet and all, we're presented with a spacious 5.7-inch 720p TFT display here with the ZTE Z Max. It's large, but of course its pixel density is not the highest, but honestly, it's effective enough for viewing things in the web browser from a normal distance. And there's some other really nice qualities about it. Pretty strong brightness output, it has a really nice color temperature. Color reproduction is not entirely accurate, but it's good enough, and it works in many ways. Android purists will like the fact that the ZTE Z Max is running a mostly stock Android 4.4.2 KitKat experience, so the UI is pretty clean. We're not inundated by a bunch of redundant features. It's simple, straightforward, and gives you all the basic features of the platform. One area where it's lacking is in the productivity side, just because when you look at the Samsung Galaxy Note or the other handful of phablet smartphones out there, they have an enhanced experience that makes good use of the real estate. So you notice sometimes they have an enhanced multitasking experience. But here at the ZTE Z Max, it's pretty bare bones. You don't get much of it. Now, the large size of the screen proves valuable in the web browsing experience just because we could see a lot of the page without scrolling a whole lot. And of course, it features 4G LTE and smooth controls to really complement the overall experience. Due to its affordable cost, they've outfitted it with the basic processor. It's a quad-core 1.2 GHz Qualcomm Snapdragon 400 processor, coupled with 2 GB of RAM and the Adreno 305 GPU. Now, for basic things, it naturally has a really good response, but for more complex things like gamings, it really begins to show its strain. There are two options to go with if you plan on listening to music. You could choose to go with the Google Play Music application, or as an alternative, you could go with the ZTE one. Both are pretty functional. As far as the audio quality from its speaker in the rear, it's okay with its volume, but it tends to sound a little bit sharp. The large screen is obviously beneficial for watching videos, so it's pretty crisp, and on top of that, playback is smooth. One thing that we really like is that there's a multitasking element where you could actually pop out the video and it's overlaid on top of whatever we're doing. So essentially, it gives us a fair amount of multitasking, but we do notice just a slight hitch with its performance. It's nothing really worth bragging about, but the ZTE Z Max features an 8-megapixel autofocus camera with an LED flash and up to 1080p video recording. The camera app has been customized by ZTE. It's nice because you have different manual controls available to you. On top of that, a host of different shooting modes as well. So on top of the usual things like HDR and panoramic, we have other ones such as night portrait, interval, and one with blink detection. The camera produces some decent looking photos. So nothing outstanding. One of the main problems that we have is that the focus is a little bit on the slow side, so more times than none you're gonna have stuff being blurred. On top of that, it doesn't handle dynamic range under lower lighting conditions all that great, just because in brighter areas it tends to overexpose them. Well, the same qualities are present with its 1080p video recording quality. They're good, but nothing really great. The biggest issue again is just the focus. It's very slow, and sometimes it doesn't get it right on the dot. We actually have a tough time conducting conversations with the handset. That's because with the earpiece, voices have a subtle robotic tone to them, though the volume output is strong enough for noisy environments, but that's not the case with the speakerphone. It's pretty weak, and voices tend to sound a little bit on the hollow side. Luckily though, our callers didn't have too much of a problem there, and just because they're treated to rich and clear voices. A big phone deserves a pretty big battery, and that's what we're given here with the ZTE Z Max. It's stuffed with a hefty 3400 milliamp hour battery, and it delivers excellent battery life. Normal usage, we get up to 2 days out of it, and in our battery benchmark tests, it puts up an impressive tally of 10 hours and 53 minutes. Well, it's certainly not the grandest phablet in the space right now, but for the $262 you're going to be paying outright to pick up the ZTE Z-Max, it offers a fair amount of value. So even though it doesn't come with all of the productivity elements of some of its rivals, what you get here is a big phone with a large display and a really long battery life. And for the overall package, it's not bad, especially those on a tight budget. So if you guys want to learn more about the ZTE Z-Max, you can check out our website, phonearena.com. It's John V. Thanks for watching.